Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s appointment to head the Health and Human Services Department is making mainstream liberals and also some conservatives lose their mind.
It also comes in conflict with what RFK Jr. claims he wants to do at HHS, because substances from our foods and things of that nature, and to actually increase.
Robert Francis Kennedy Jr. isn't one to hold back when the truth needs to be told. This time, he's exposing the hidden realities behind food products we use every day. From the food on your table to the products in your home, you'll be shocked to know what they are really made of. Which food product did he specifically speak against?
This is what most Americans innocently put into their bodies these days, and most alarmingly, into the bodies of their children. And it's no coincidence that Americans die earlier than Canadians or Germans or Italians or any other comparable country.
In this video, we will reveal 15 products RFK Jr. says you will stop buying after you know what they're made of. Kopi Luwak coffee. To start off our list, let's look into one of the most expensive coffee you'll find anywhere. Kopi Luwak coffee is made in a way that's hard to believe. It starts with civets, small animals found in Southeast Asia and parts of Africa. These animals eat ripe coffee cherries straight from the farm. Inside their stomachs, the cherries break down through natural enzymes, which change the bean's structure and flavor. After digestion, the civet passes the beans out in its droppings. Farmers then collect the poop, clean the beans, and roast them to create this pricey coffee. While it sounds fancy, the process raises serious concerns. Many civets are kept in cages and force-fed coffee cherries, causing stress and poor health. This unnatural setup not only harms the animals, but also puts cleanliness and sustainability into question. The focus on profits often ignores the welfare of the civets and the quality of the environment. But this is just the beginning. Stay tuned for more shocking revelations. Margarine. Margarine starts with oils like soybean or palm oil, which are processed heavily to turn them into a solid form. The oils go through a process called hydrogenation, where they are treated with hydrogen gas. This process changes their texture but can also create trans fats, which are linked to heart problems. Trans fats mess with cholesterol levels, raising the bad kind and lowering the good kind, which isn't great for your body.
All the fatty acids in margarine are chemically expressed from vegetable seeds.
To make margarine look nice and taste better, manufacturers add all sorts of extras. Chemicals like hexane might be used to extract the oils, while bleaches are added to make the color more appealing. Then, deodorizers are thrown in to remove any weird smells. Emulsifiers help mix water and oil, giving margarine that smooth, creamy texture everyone recognizes. Vanilla flavors. Most people think vanilla flavor comes straight from vanilla beans, but artificial vanilla tells a different story. One ingredient, castoreum, is a secretion from beavers. It's found in sacs near their tails and used by them to mark their territory. Surprisingly, it has a scent that can mimic vanilla and is sometimes added to food and perfumes. Another common ingredient in artificial vanilla is vanillin, which doesn't come from beans at all. Instead, it's made from things like lignin, a compound found in wood, or guaiacol, which is derived from clove oil or other chemicals. These synthetic processes rely on heavy chemical treatments, raising concerns about how much of it we consume unknowingly. Apple juice. Apple juice might seem like a popular choice, but the way it's made can raise some concerns. Many brands boost sweetness by adding sugars like fructose and glucose. To make the flavor more appealing, manufacturers often include additives such as citramalic acids, which help mimic the natural taste of fresh apples. The apples used aren't always in perfect condition. Some are bruised, moldy, or even starting to rot. This can lead to the presence of patulin, a toxin that forms in damaged or rotting fruit. Heating during production doesn't remove this harmful substance, so it can end up in the final juice. Even brands that market themselves as fresh can't guarantee the quality of every apple that goes into their products. Additives and questionable fruit quality make the production process far from as natural as it seems. Microwave popcorn. When it's movie time or you're in the mood for a snack, microwave popcorn is often the go-to choice. But after learning how it's made, you might think twice before grabbing a bag. The process begins with kernels mixed with oils and artificial flavorings, packed into microwave-safe bags. These bags are coated with chemicals like perfluorooctanoic acid and perfluorooctane sulfonic acid, which prevent grease from leaking and ensure the popcorn pops correctly. However, when heated, these chemicals break down into perfluoroalkyl and polyfluoroalkyl substances, or PFAS, which have been linked to serious health issues such as cancer, liver damage, and kidney problems. PFAS can build up in the body and stay there for a long time, making them even more harmful over time. While the popcorn itself may be whole grain, the chemicals in the bag make this snack far from healthy. Tomato ketchup. While ketchup is often made with tomatoes, sugar, salt, vinegar, and spices, some brands use cheap substitutes like papaya or white melon instead of real tomatoes to cut costs. The addition of preservatives, onion, garlic, and coloring agents might make it taste better and last longer, but they also add extra sugars and calories. A big problem is the use of high fructose corn syrup, which is a processed sweetener linked to health issues when eaten in large amounts. Plus, the heating process during production destroys some of the vitamins found in fresh tomatoes, like vitamins A and C. So, while ketchup can enhance flavor, it comes packed with unhealthy ingredients that might not be so great for your body. Potato chips. When you pick a can of Pringles, you're not just munching on regular potato chips. These chips start as a mix of rice, corn, wheat, and potato flakes, which are turned into a dough. This dough is rolled out and shaped like cookie dough, then pressed into molds to create the signature curve. After being fried in hot oil, they get dried and coated with powdered flavorings. This process strips away the natural texture of potatoes, replacing them with a blend of processed ingredients. The frying adds unhealthy fats, and the flavoring often includes artificial ingredients and extra sugars. The whole process removes any nutrients that you might expect from real potatoes, making the chips less of a healthy snack than you might think. With all the added processing and chemicals, this snack falls far from a natural treat. The biggest reveal is yet to come. Keep watching. Hot dogs. Most hot dogs are created from the leftover parts of animals after the prime cuts are taken. These trimmings are then tossed into large machines that chop them up and mix them with water, corn syrup, and sorbitol, a sweetener. Salt and starch are added to improve texture, while liquid smoke gives them that smoky flavor we love. Spices are added to suit different tastes. But the real concern is how these processed meats are linked to health problems like heart disease. All those chemicals and preservatives are far from natural. Plus, the factory farming practices behind many of these hot dogs raise serious ethical issues about animal welfare. Despite being tasty and easy to eat, they come with a list of health risks that shouldn't be ignored. Chicken nuggets. Instead of using fresh chicken breast, many nuggets are made from mechanically separated chicken, which means they grind up the entire chicken, including bones, skin, and less desirable parts. These bits are turned into a paste that gets flavored with salt, preservatives, and spices to make it more palatable. Once the mixture is ready, it's shaped into nugget forms, breaded with flour and spices, and then fried to crispy perfection. The frying process adds unnecessary fats, making them less healthy. While some brands use whole muscle meat, many don't, so it's always a good idea to check the label. Even if they're convenient and crispy, the hidden ingredients and unhealthy fats are something to watch out for. Chewing gum. The next time you pop a piece of gum in your mouth, you might want to think twice about what's in it. Some of the ingredients are pretty surprising, like lanolin, a waxy substance taken from sheep's wool. It helps give gum that chewy texture, but the idea of it coming from sheep glands may not be so appealing. The gum base itself isn't just simple tree sap either, because it can include synthetic materials like polyethylene, commonly found in plastics. On top of that, artificial sweeteners and flavors are added, making it a mix of chemicals rather than something natural. Shocking, right? But there's more to find out. Beer. Beer might not be as simple as it seems, especially if you're sipping on one that's been clarified with Eising Glass. This fish-based ingredient is made from the swim bladders of fish, used to make beer look clear and appealing. While it doesn't affect the flavor, the thought of fish parts in your drink can be off-putting. For vegans or anyone concerned about animal products, It's an uncomfortable detail. The use of Eising Glass raises concerns about how natural some beers really are. Even though newer breweries are starting to experiment with plant-based alternatives to keep beer clear, many still rely on this fish-derived process. Jelly beans. You might not realize it, but jelly beans owe their shiny look to something pretty unexpected, which is called shellac. This shiny coating isn't just sugar or a harmless glaze, it's a resin secreted by female lac bugs, which feed on tree sap. Once digested, they secrete the resin, which hardens on tree branches. In countries like Thailand and India, this resin is collected, processed, and turned into flakes. Those flakes are then dissolved in ethanol to make a liquid, which is sprayed onto jelly beans to give them their signature shine. The problem is, shellac is an animal byproduct, which makes it an issue for vegetarians and vegans. To make matters worse, it's often listed under the code E904, making it hard to spot on ingredient labels. It's also used on fruits like apples, not just candy, and can be found in things like furniture polish. Ice cream. A lot of commercial ice creams have added ingredients like propylene glycol, a type of antifreeze, to keep them soft and scoopable. This makes the ice cream creamy and smooth, but it's not something you'd expect in your dessert. Along with that, stabilizers and emulsifiers like guar gum and carob bean gum are added to prevent ice crystals and create that perfect texture. Some brands even pump air into the mix to make it fluffier and lighter, which sounds good, but it means you're eating more than you think. With all these extras, your ice cream might not be as innocent as it appears. Honey. While honey is often considered a healthier alternative to sugar, it's not as innocent as it seems. For one, the process of making honey involves bees regurgitating nectar and dehydrating it until it becomes that sweet treat we love. During this process, honey can pick up harmful substances, like pesticides and chemicals, from the environment, which end up in the final product. Also, honey contains a lot of salt and calories, which is about 21 per teaspoon, making it more calorie-dense than regular sugar. So even though it may seem like a better option, consuming too much can contribute to weight gain. On top of that, harvesting honey can disturb bee colonies, which negatively affects the environment. Cheese. A lot of cheeses are made using rennet, an enzyme that comes from the stomach lining of young calves. These calves are taken from their mothers right after birth, which is pretty upsetting. To make cheese, the rennet curdles the milk, turning it into that creamy texture we love. While cheese can be delicious, some varieties are packed with saturated fat and cholesterol. A small piece of blue cheese or goat cheese can easily give you a third of your daily limit for saturated fat. And let's not forget cheeses like halloumi, which can be super high in calories. Do you think it is possible to avoid all these foods completely? Number 15. Disappearance of Harold Holt. Harold Holt was the 17th Prime Minister of Australia. On December 17, 1967, he went swimming at Cheviot Beach near Melbourne and mysteriously vanished. Despite an extensive search, he was never found. Holt was known to be a strong swimmer, but the conditions at the beach were rough that day. Some speculate that strong currents and high waves could have caused his drowning.
Mr. Stewart told police he saw the Prime Minister dive, but he failed to resurface.
Others suggest he might have had a heart attack, or a shark could have attacked him. And just as expected, the lack of his body led to many conspiracy theories. Some believe he faked his death to start a new life. Others think he was a spy for China and was picked up by a submarine. There are also claims that aliens abducted him. Holt's disappearance shocked Australia and the world at large. He had been Prime Minister for less than 2 years. The country mourned his loss, and many wondered how such a prominent figure could vanish without a trace. Number 14. Devil's Bridge. Devil's Bridge is a term used for several ancient bridges in Europe. Still, one of the most famous is in Germany, called Rakotsbrücke. It was built in the 19th century in Kromlau Park in Saxony. The bridge is unique because of its perfect semicircle design. When reflected in the water below, it forms a complete circle, creating a magical and strange sight. This illusion has fascinated people for years. Stories tell that the devil himself built the bridge. The story goes that the devil made a deal with a local builder. The deal was that the devil would help construct the bridge in exchange for the soul of the first person to cross it. Once the bridge was completed, the clever builder sent a dog across, tricking the devil. The bridge, however, is made of basalt stones, giving it a rugged, almost otherworldly look. Its intricate design and the way it blends with the natural landscape make it a popular spot for photographers and tourists. Despite its beauty, the bridge is delicate and fragile. For this reason, walking on the bridge is prohibited to preserve its structure. The Devil's Bridge is still a mystery, as no one particularly knows how it came to be. Don't be too shocked when you see this next one. Number 13, Zodiac Killers. The Zodiac Killer is one of the most famous, unidentified serial killers in American history. He was active in Northern California during the late 1960s and early 1970s. The name Zodiac comes from the letters he sent to the press, which included strange symbols and ciphers. The Zodiac Killer is confirmed to have murdered at least 5 people. His first victims were high school students Betty Lou Jensen and David Faraday, who were shot on December 20th, 1968, near Vallejo, California. His next attack was on July 4th, 1969, when he killed Darlene Ferrin and injured Mike Mageau, also near Vallejo. One of his most notorious attacks happened on September 27, 1969. He tied up and stabbed Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard near Lake Berryessa. Cecilia died from her injuries, but Brian survived.
One has to have certain goals that you have to set. The first goal, of course, was to live.
The last confirmed Zodiac murder was of cab driver Paul Stein in San Francisco on October 11, 1969. The Zodiac Killer taunted police and newspapers with letters. He sent 4 cryptograms, but only one has been completely solved. In this solved cipher, he claimed to enjoy killing people. Despite many investigations and various suspects, the Zodiac Killer was never caught. One suspect, Arthur Lee Allen, seemed to fit the profile, but there wasn't enough evidence to charge him. The case remains open, and people are still trying to solve the mystery today. Number 12, the Shrewsbury Construction. The Shrewsbury inscription is a strange and mysterious code found on a monument in England. It is located on the Shepherd's Monument, part of the Shrewsbury Hall estate in Staffordshire. Built in the 18th century, the monument features a carved relief of a painting by Nicolas Poussin, The Shepherds of Arcadia. Below this carving is an inscription of 10 letters, DOUOSVAVVM. For over 250 years, people have tried to solve the puzzle of these letters, but no one has definitively cracked the code. Many theories exist about what the letters mean. Some believe they are related to the Knights Templar, a medieval Christian order rumored to have hidden treasures. Others think it might be a message from an ancient secret society, or even a clue to the Holy Grail. Some suggest it is a personal message from the monument's creator to his late wife. Historians, linguists, and codebreakers have all taken a crack at the Shrewsbury inscription, but it remains unsolved. In the 1980s, even British intelligence agency MI5 experts tried to decipher it. Still, they failed, and it has continued to be a mystery. Number 11, Antira Mechanism. The Antira Mechanism is an ancient Greek device found in 1901 in a shipwreck off the coast of the Greek island Antikythera. It's often called the world's first computer because it was used to track the movements of the sun, moon, and planets. The device is made of bronze and is about the size of a shoebox. It has a complex system of gears, like the ones in clocks, and it was used to predict astronomical events. Scientists believe it was built around 100 BC, which makes it more than 2,000 years old.
About the mechanism would say, how is it possible that this thing was made over 2,000 years ago?
The Antikythera mechanism has over 30 bronze gears and was used to calculate things like lunar eclipses, the phases of the moon, and the positions of the planets. It was also able to follow the cycles of the Olympic Games and other festivals. The device shows that ancient Greeks had advanced knowledge of astronomy and engineering. The mechanism was discovered among the wreckage of a ship that sank in the 1st century BC. The ship carried luxury goods from the eastern Mediterranean to Rome when it went down. The Antikythera mechanism was found along with other artifacts, but it was the only object it ever discovered. Number 10. Unknown civilization. What if I told you that there are clues about an ancient civilization that remains largely a mystery deep in the Amazon rainforest? This civilization lived long before Europeans arrived in the Americas, which is different from what we usually consider ancient civilizations. In the past few decades, scientists have discovered evidence that this civilization might have been quite advanced. They have found large earthworks, geometric shapes, and old roads hidden under the dense forest. Some of these structures are so big that they can be seen from the sky using tools like LiDAR, a technology that uses laser light to map the ground. One of the most famous finds is the geoglyphs in the Amazon. These are huge shapes or patterns carved into the earth. They look like pictures from above and include shapes like circles, squares, and lines. Another discovery is the black earth, or terra preta, which is very rich, dark soil in parts of the Amazon. This soil is believed to have been created by the ancient people. It shows that these people could farm and manage the land in a way that made the soil very fertile. However, there is still much we don't know about these people. We don't know what they called themselves or why they disappeared. Number 9. Crystal skulls. Crystal skulls are mysterious artifacts that have fascinated people for many years. They are skull-shaped objects made from transparent or translucent quartz crystals. The most famous crystal skulls are the Mitchell-Hedges skull, the British Museum skull, and the Paris skull. One big mystery about these skulls is where they came from. Some believe they are ancient artifacts from lost civilizations, like the Maya or Aztecs. However, there is no substantial evidence to prove this. Many experts think the skulls were made in the 19th or early 20th century. They might have been created as curiosities for wealthy collectors, or as fake ancient relics to sell. Another mystery is how the skulls were made. Quartz crystal is tough, and carving it with simple tools would be difficult. Some think the skulls might have been made with advanced technology lost over time. However, scientists have shown that the tools used to make the skulls were available in the 1800s. Some believe the crystal skulls have mystical powers, or can be used for spiritual practices.
They say that the skulls, when put in the proper alignment, and it has to do with peace on the planet.
Stories say they can heal people or reveal secrets about the past. There are also theories that they are part of a global prophecy or hold ancient knowledge. Number 8. The mysterious disappearance of Flight MH370. On March 8, 2014, Malaysia Airlines Flight MH370 took off from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, heading to Beijing, China. The plane was a Boeing 777, carrying 239 people. It was supposed to fly for about 6 hours, but something went wrong. Shortly after takeoff, the plane's communication system was turned off. Air traffic controllers lost contact with the aircraft. The last signal from the plane was at 1:19 a.m. local time. The aircraft was over the Indian Ocean, far from its planned route. Many countries joined the search for the missing plane. They looked in the South China Sea and the Indian Ocean, but found few clues. In 2015, a wing part called a flaperon was found on a beach in Reunion Island, a French territory. This was confirmed from Flight MH370, but it did not help find the plane. The search continued for years, focusing on a large area in the Indian Ocean, but no other significant parts were found. In 2018, the official search was stopped, but some private efforts continued. The disappearance remains one of the biggest mysteries in aviation history. Number 7. The Codex Gigas. The Codex Gigas, also known as the Devil's Bible, is a huge old book that dates back to the early 13th century. It was made in Bohemia, now part of the Czech Republic. This manuscript is famous for its enormous size and mysterious origins. The Codex Gigas is one of the largest medieval manuscripts in the world. It is about 36 inches tall and 20 inches wide, weighing around 75 pounds. It contains 310 pages made from animal skin, called parchment. What makes this book famous is its size and a large, strange illustration of the devil on one of its pages. This has led to many myths and legends about the book. Some people believe the book was created by a monk who made a pact with the devil to finish the book in one night. This story, however, is said to be a myth. In the 17th century, the Codex Gigas was stolen from a monastery and taken to Sweden, where it is still kept today. The Codex Gigas includes a variety of texts. It has the entire Bible in Latin and works on history, medicine, and magic. The reason for its creation is not entirely known, but it was probably made as a religious and scholarly work. Number 6. Voyage Manuscript. The Voyage Manuscript is one of the most mysterious books in history. It was discovered in 1912 by a rare book dealer named Wilfrid Voynich. This book is unique because no one can understand it. The manuscript is filled with strange drawings, weird symbols, and a language no one recognizes. It is written on parchment, an old paper made from animal skin. The book is about 240 pages long. The Voynich manuscript is divided into different sections. One section shows plants that don't seem to exist, another has drawings of strange women bathing, and the other talks about stars and astrology. The text in the manuscript is written in an unknown script, and no one has been able to decode it, even with modern technology. Many experts have tried to figure out what the manuscript means. Some think it might be a secret code or a language from a lost civilization. Others believe it might be a hoax, made up to trick people. There are also theories that it could be a book about herbal medicine or alchemy. The manuscript is now kept at Yale University's Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, where people can study it. Number 5. The mysterious WOW signal from space. In 1977, a big mystery happened in space. A scientist named Jerry R. Ehman detected a radio signal at Ohio State University's Big Ear Radio Telescope. He called it the WOW signal because he wrote WOW next to it on the data printout. The WOW signal was unusual and exciting because it was a powerful and narrow burst of radio waves from space. The signal lasted for 72 seconds and then disappeared. This was the only time the signal was ever recorded. Scientists were puzzled because this strong signal had never been seen before. It was different from the usual background noise of space. They wondered if it could signify extraterrestrial life, like an alien message. However, no one could detect the signal again, even though scientists have tried to find it for years. People think it might have come from a natural source like a comet or a satellite. Others believe it could have been a mistake or interference from Earth. Despite many theories, no one knows where the signal originated or what caused it. Number 4. Mary Celeste. The Mary Celeste was a ship found abandoned in 1872, and it's one of the biggest mysteries in maritime history. It was a cargo ship sailing from New York to Genoa, Italy. On December 4, 1872, a DEI Gracia ship spotted the Mary Celeste drifting in the Atlantic Ocean. The ship was in good condition, but no crew was on board. The ship's lifeboat was missing, and there were signs that the crew had left in a hurry. The cargo, including 1,700 barrels of alcohol, was mostly intact. The crew's personal belongings were also left behind, which seemed strange. The ship's logbook showed that everything was normal until the day it was found, but then it suddenly stopped recording events. People have come up with many theories about what happened to the crew. Some think they might have abandoned the ship because of a problem with the cargo or a fear of an explosion. Others believe there could have been a mutiny or that pirates attacked the crew. But despite many investigations, there's still no clear answer about what happened to the Mary Celeste and its crew. Number 3. Rangor Rango writing. Rangor Rango is a mysterious form of writing found on Easter Island, a remote island in the Pacific Ocean. This island is famous for its giant stone statues called moai. Rangor Rango is different because it is the only known writing system from the Polynesian islands. Discovered in the 19th century, Rangor Rango is found on wooden tablets and other objects. The writing consists of symbols that look like pictures. These symbols are arranged in lines with different types of marks and characters. However, no one knows what these symbols mean. Rangor Rango is unique because it seems to be a script where symbols represent ideas or sounds. Rangor Rango remains a mystery, unlike most writing systems, which have been studied and understood. Scholars have tried to decode it, but there is no clear understanding of what the symbols represent or what stories they might tell. Only a few Rangor Rango tablets are left today, and most of the knowledge about this writing system has been lost. The secret of Rangor Rango still waits to be uncovered, and it continues to fascinate people worldwide. Number 2. Roman dodecahedron. The Roman dodecahedron is a mysterious artifact from ancient Rome. It's a small, hollow object shaped like a 12-sided dice called a dodecahedron. These dodecahedrons are made from bronze or stone and have been found in different parts of the Roman Empire. The Roman dodecahedron is mysterious because nobody knows what it was used for. Its purpose is still a big mystery for historians. However, some think the dodecahedron might have been used as a calendar or a timekeeping device. The 12 sides could represent the months of the year or hours of the day. Another theory is that it was a gaming piece. Ancient Romans liked to play dice games, and the dodecahedron might have been part of one of these games. Some researchers believe it was used in religious or magical rituals. However, there is no concrete evidence to prove any one of these ideas. The Roman dodecahedron remains one of history's great mysteries. Number 1. The Easter Island Statues. The Easter Island statues, called moai, are giant stone figures on Easter Island, a remote island in the Pacific Ocean. The Rapa Nui people made these statues between 1400 and 1650 AD. There are about 900 moai on the island. The moai statues are famous for their large heads, representing the ancestors' importance. They are made from volcanic rock called tuff, carved from a quarry on the island. Each moai was built to honor and celebrate essential leaders or chiefs. One mystery about the moai is how they were moved. The statues were not rolled or carried on sleds, but were somehow walked to their locations. Some researchers believe the Rapa Nui people used a unique technique involving ropes and coordination to make the statues rock back and forth. Another mystery is why the moai were eventually abandoned. After Europeans arrived in the 18th century, the Rapa Nui society faced conflicts and environmental challenges. This led to the toppling of many moai, which were later re-erected in the 20th century. We've come to the end of this video. Let us know what you think in the comments section. Do not forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Click on the next video displayed on your screen. You will enjoy it.